I will add every type of asset: mountains, trees, symbols, sample colorable, custom colorable, other type of custom colorables. Hello world builders and cartographers. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to add custom assets in Wonderdraft. So first of all, this system works a bit strange, but I will try to make it as simple as possible. And for that, our first step is going to be visiting the Humble Bundle account and going to our library here. This is where we downloaded the files of Wonderdraft. Here, you will see a file called Wonderdraft example custom assets. I want you to download this. So once you download this, I want you to unzip. It will give you this example file. So keep this in your pocket. Now let's go to a map. Any map will get the job done. Just open Wonderdraft, and on left top part, you have menu. Here, click and go to open user folder. Once you click this, it will take you here. This is where the files of Wonderdraft. Here you can add assets on the first one, and also here you will have backup maps. So in once every 5 minutes, Wonderdraft creates a backup folder for you, and you can also change that on preferences here. Just go to your backup files. You probably lost only 2, 3, 5, maybe 10 minutes of work, so you can recover the previous steps if your last save was 1 hour ago. Once you open this file, go to the first one, here I have it, and copy or cut that folder to here. So why did we do this? Because when we are for the first time adding custom assets, we don't know anything about it, and this folder will be like a guideline to us. It will show us the exact structure that our assets should be formatted. When we go inside, you will see fonts, sprites, and textures. When you go into fonts, of course, you will not have those files because yours is going to have only this one. But when you go to fonts, here you can add any fonts, and that will be shown on the map. So this is where you can add the fonts. So fonts to the first folder, textures is where you add the frames and textures. And finally, here in sprites, we add assets. I will add every type of asset: mountains, trees, symbols, sample colorable, custom colorable. So whatever you need, you will know, and you will be able to add it without any issue. So starting with mountains. When you go into this file, into this folder, now we have nothing, right? But let's add some. I prepared some examples from my Dotty collection, Dotty mountains. And they are white because they are supposed to be sample colorable. They need to pick the color from the ground. So the mountains are white, and I'm gonna cut this folder, go here, copy it. Now I have my mountains. The name of it, when you search objects or mountains, will be seen there on the right panel. In mountains folder, in sprites, in example. You can also change the name of this file. Remember, I told you that this is where we are going to choose the assets that we want on the map. As you can see here, there is a file named example. Very big warning to you. If you change any name, any format, any location, anything, anywhere, and you already used those on a map, you will lose them. So make sure that whatever you have in the beginning is the way you want to go with. The names of the assets, the names of the folders, where they are located, because once you put them there and use them on a map, you cannot change, because then Wonderdraft will not be able to find those assets and reflect them on the map. So you will lose that progress, you will lose that assets on the map. It is reversible, but not guaranteed. If you do such mistake, you can reverse all the changes, and if everything matches again, Draft may potentially find it, but this doesn't work every time, so don't take it guaranteed. So now what I'm going to do, I have to check this on. If I don't check this on, Wonderdraft will not use that asset, will not use that file. I'm going and creating a new map. What this will do is this will make Wonderdraft create a txt file. Now we have this file. We made Wonderdraft create it because we put it in the map when we first time opening it here or adding it to a map. Both will work fine. I always add assets in a new map and make all the changes in a new map. and then go to my existing files. So now I have the example here. Up until this point, all these assets were default mountains, but this time I have this mountain here. I can change the size of it, just like any other asset, put it anywhere I want. And for a quick comparison, let me add some lands here, get back to mountains. This was the Wonderdraft original mountains. This is the maximum size they can get. And this is the file that I added. Don't make it scare you. We can also size it as long as the assets are made considering consistency, it should be fine. I can color them just like the other assets. This is the easy one. Why? Because we added it in mountains section. Adding sample colorable assets to mountains folder and trees folder is very easy because it will automatically create the right code, which is sample color in this txt file. But now let's do another test and let's add 2 more files to mountains. Let's create a new map. Make sure the example file is selected because this is where we added the file. Perfect. Now, quickly going to mountains, pressing M. My clouds are working. My mountains are working, but this guy is not working. Why? Because by default, anything you add to mountains or trees folder is considered to be white. The default is always adding them the sample colorable call because Wonderdraft assume you will use the sample coloring option, so picking the colors from the ground. Now, as you can see, by clicking on mountains, I can color these, but those clouds will look weird because those clouds were red. So they are custom colorable. So their color is supposed to be changed here, where we manually change colors. This is where we need to get now involved in changing those names. Dotty clouds, as you can see, they are white. By default, added sample color here. And this code will apply to all of them and they will be sprayed randomly due to the assets being added in mountains. That is another thing that makes mountains and trees different than symbols. Going back to clouds, these are red clouds, but they are named sample color. What we need to do is we need to change this to custom colors. We save it and now we create another map. This time it should work. Pressing M for a quick shortcut, working just fine. They are also working fine. I'm selecting those guys, as you can see, but these are not changing anything. Our clouds were just pure red. We only use the first box to color them. So it doesn't mean that it is not working or we are missing anything. It is just because of the nature of the asset. And using G here, I can color these, but I cannot color those ones because now they are not sample colorable. This brush only works for sample colorable assets, which picks the color from the ground. So that is to show how mountains work. Back then I told you, if you have custom colorable assets in mountains and trees folders, here you will not have any option to color them. You need to go here, color them and use them, or select them after placing them and edit them. So that is the mountains. The trees work exactly the same way. Let's also show that. Closing this. So now we have aux and deleting these existing files. I'm now going to get both of these, but where do I need to put them? To trees section. Assets, my example file, sprites, trees, and then I have those files and inside I have those assets. Let's create another map to get those txt files to make Wonderdraft see and read those assets for the first time. Example is checked here. This is where the assets were, starting the map. Now, using the T as a shortcut, going to trees, as you can see, the same thing happened. Let's create some lands quickly. We had trees up until this palm. Now we have this tree and this tree. Just like those clouds, these are white. So automatically Wonderdraft assumed that we put the right asset type, which is white, in trees. And by default, Wonderdraft says all trees must be sample colorable, or our default coding is sample color. So if I color them using the brush, trees, it will work. But the whole asset will be colored to the same color. But these guys will not work. And if I choose, the custom color will not work also. It's like stuck. Wonderdraft doesn't know if it is sample colored or custom colored. We go back. No need to change this one, but what we need to do is we need to go to the RGB one and change this to custom colors. Create map again, quickly adding some blends, pressing T, and now these are working. How do I know? Because I know they're transparent because it's the default color here, a bit transparent color. Now I'm gonna choose all of them, assign colors. As you can see, the red one here on the asset is colored using the first box, but the bottom is not colored because it was green, which is the second color. Now I'm giving it a color. And the third one this time will not have much of an effect because we don't have blue. And if you don't have the third option, generally go with black, because if you use the black, it gives them the most vibrance possible. Now I know that these trees are working. I'm gonna save these colors here, pressing S to go to symbols, adding those colors here. And what this allows me to do is now all the assets that I add are already colored. I cannot change it here. So therefore I changed it there on the symbols part. And now all my trees or anything that was custom colorable, trees section is going to be colored using those colors. This was the easy part. Now symbols, it's a bit different. Going to sprites, symbols, copying them. So now these are going to be in the symbols section, opening a new map. I'm making sure that example is selected. Now, by pressing S, I'm going to symbols. On the right part here, I'm going to see on the bottom, dotted creatures and volcanoes. And when I choose this, it also doesn't work. And in fact, in this folder, I have a mix of RGB and white ones. This is one of the differences between symbols and trees. If you have any tree folder in tree section or any mountains in mountain section, the folder can have only one type of asset. Why? Simple. Because, let me show you. When we add assets in the symbols section, Wonderdraft creates a code for every asset that is in that folder. And as you can see, it is labeled normal. This is the default code for symbols. That is why when we added it on the map, unlike those trees and mountains, instead of looking like brown, they were looking exactly red, blue, and green. Our mountains were just white instead of picking the colors from ground, and our smokes were looking red because normal code reflects the asset as it is. So what do we do in this case? I'm gonna change all of these by bulk changing. Don't mind the Turkish, you can quickly find it, and Control# is the shortcut for it. Normal, custom colors. Change all, save, make sure to save. Now whatever is in this folder will work. But here it's a bit tricky because some are white and some are red. Which one is more? White one is more. So I'm going to say change all of this to sample color and then save. But now these will not work, only the white ones will work. Custom colors. I'm gonna copy this, go down, and I'm just gonna keep pasting it to the assets that are red. There is an easier way to do this also. I will also show you that. So in case if you will have a file that has multiple options, I will teach you a shortcut. You can thank me by liking the video, sharing it around, commenting. I had to figure all these out myself in 3 years of making assets and wasted tons of hours. So now I'm sharing so you don't have to. I'm gonna save the file, create a new map, zip more copies, and now pressing S, coming to creatures, changing the color. For example, these reflect the colors that we choose, and we can also change it whenever we want. And we can even pick colors from each other using that tool. Voila. Now my creatures are working. I am able to color them. Let's go back, change the volcanoes. As you can see now, the mountains pick the color from the ground. How do I know? Instead of being white, they are yellowish paper color, and I can color them using the brush. I will color the ground. It works as it is supposed to be. But what about these guys? As you can already see, they picked the brown color from here. I'm gonna make some grayish color here and change these ones to black. Voila. As you can see, both of it now works. Even though they're in the same file and they have different codes, it will not be a problem because it's in the symbols file. So did we miss anything? Let's now see a quick tip to add different types of assets in the same folder in a faster way. I'm going to get all of these red ones. I'm going to add them here. Now I'm going to start a map again, so that Wonderdraft will read those and create the txt file. Refresh, it's already here. Now I'm going to change all of them from normal to sample color. Now all of them are labeled properly. Now I'm going to come back here, get those red ones, add them here, create another file. So basically I am doing it in 2 steps. Instead of changing all the names separately, I'm creating their tags in an organized way. The txt file must be updated. I'm refreshing here, and now when I go down, those new ones are added. I can change it again from normal, but instead of sample color, I can do custom colors, bulk edit, and save, and finished. Instead of doing manually all of them. So even if I had like already colored assets here, if you organize them depending on their types, so RGBs, whites, and colored, and add them, changing the file and changing the names will be very easy. Another thing we can learn is it's also a custom color. The code for it is a bit different, so let me show you. For that, I'm going to give you examples from the original assets from Wonderdraft. So for example, premium buildings, the woven custom color. As you can see, these ones also have the RGB colors, but they have gray, so they already have some colored parts. This will work only if those RGB colors are not contacting each other. So the red, blue, and green should not touch each other because it will create some rainbows on the asset if you have that issue. And if the code is labeled as custom colors 2 instead of just custom colors. Let's check this. Creating a new file, making sure that those premium ones are selected. Now it's taking a bit longer because Wonderdraft is adding more assets to the map than before. Quickly adding some lands. For example, I'm gonna give these 3 colors. So right now, my creatures are all colored in these colors. And they don't have any other color because they are already colored using only RGBs and they are labeled custom colors. But this type of asset has its own colors plus the colors that are assigned here. And now you have some new assets and you're excited to add them to the map. What you can do is you come here, click on assets, and then you checked it. For example, .assets. Save, open it again. As you can see, loading custom pack .assets. Now it's loading the assets that we chose here. Now I'm going to symbols and voila, I have all those assets, all those types of things, all those trees, all the mountains, all of them are here. Sometimes people don't give you the txt file because rarely those txt files don't work. So for example, when you copied this, it may not work. In that case, just delete this, create a new file by opening a map again, using the same assets. Now I have this, and I'm gonna change all of them back to custom colors, saving it, opening it, and voila, they work again. So in case you have any assets and it comes with txt file, but the assets are not working, do this and 95% of the times it will solve your problem. If I missed anything, let me know. Using this example file, you can create your folders following the same structure. You can name them however you want, organize them however you want, as long as they're in the right format, it will work. And these ones, as you already saw, these names will be shown. Don't give the same name of the folder to others. It's also causing problem. I had that before with new updates. I don't know if they fixed it, but it is risky. If this is .creatures, I should not have any other file that says .creatures. I'm still learning how to record. So give me some feedback, opinions, ideas to help me develop and deliver better quality videos for you, better tutorials. If you like it and if this was useful to you, make sure to like and support and give me some love. And I will see you on the next episode where we are going to be using custom assets to make what we made before. So I'm going to make the same map using different assets to show how much color it can add to your project, how much variety you can get. Write Wonderdraft assets on Google. You will have many websites from many creators. you're gonna be much more amazed than before, and you will love Wonderdraft more than before. All right, I will see you on the next episode. Happy mappings.